Hi everyone, this is Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. Finally got this off the ground. I'm very excited to present this to you, but a word of caution is in order. The material you are about to hear is highly flammable. These words are likely to light your soul on fire, so handle with care. Let's jump right in. Here we go. At the end of the Torah reading last week, we are confronted with one of the greatest cliffhangers in the entire Torah, the entire Bible. And that, of course, we all know the story of Joseph and his brothers, how the brothers came down to Egypt, of course, not knowing that it was in fact Joseph they were speaking to, and how Joseph had set them up, had taken one of his silver goblets, snuck it into the bag of Benjamin, and as they were leaving Egypt, Joseph sent his officers after the brothers, and they captured them and searched through their bags, and they found Joseph's goblet in the backpack of Benjamin. So they are all brought before Joseph, and they are all at a loss. They don't know how it got there, how this goblet ended up in the backpack of Benjamin. And Judah comes forward and he says, "No, we will all be slaves to you." And Joseph responds and says, "No, I don't want all of you to be slaves. Rather, the one with whom the goblet was found, he should be a slave." And of course, that was Benjamin. So that is how the Torah reading ended last week, on that cliffhanger that we don't know what's going to happen to Benjamin. How is Judah going to respond? Stay tuned for next week. And here we are next week. And what does the Torah tell us? That Judah steps forward. Vayigash Elav Yehuda. Judah steps forward to confront Joseph. It is an epic confrontation between Judah, who represents Malchut, who represents kingship, and Joseph represents another form of political leadership. And it is this eternal battle that is taking place. It is not simply two brothers in a simple story, but rather it's an epic confrontation. And finally, what happens after Judah makes his whole presentation? What does Joseph say? Listen carefully to the words of the Bible. It says, "V'lo yachol Yosef lehit apek." Joseph couldn't hold back any longer. Vayitein et kolo bivchi. I'm skipping to the next verse. And it says that he began to weep. Right? Vayishma beit Paro, and the house of Pharaoh heard. Vayomer Yosef el achav, and Joseph said to his brothers, "Ani Yosef, I am Joseph. Ha'od avichai, is my father still alive?" And how did the brothers react? V'lo yachlu achav la'anot oto. And they couldn't even respond. Ki nivhalu mipanav, because they are so confounded. They're so confused by the whole thing. And our sages make a very powerful comment here. They say that woe to the person on the day of judgment. What do they mean by that? Woe to the person on the day of judgment. What does this whole confrontation with Judah and the revelation of Joseph to his brothers, what does this have to do with the day of judgment? Of course, the day of judgment, what they're referring to, is the day after a person dies. We come in front of the heavenly courts, and we have to give an accounting for our lives. So woe to the person on the day of judgment. Why do our sages connect with Joseph's revelation of himself to his brothers with the day that each person will have to give an accounting before the creator of the world? And so the answer, my friends, is powerful and simple. And in its simplicity is its power. When Joseph says to his brothers, "Ani Yosef, I am Joseph. Ha'od avichai, is my father still alive?" This is the ultimate rebuke of the brothers. Because Joseph says to them, "I am Joseph," right? And they had thought all along that Joseph was dead. They had thought all along that they got rid of Joseph, this troublemaker. And suddenly, everything they thought about this world, everything they thought about their lives was now turned around. They thought that they had taken care of, quote unquote, the problem of Joseph. And now Joseph, he was not only still alive, but he was the leader of Egypt. Everything in Joseph's dreams came true. They bowed down to him, just like Joseph had dreamt about 20 years prior. Everything they thought in their lives was now exactly turned in the opposite direction on them. So this is what it means, woe on the day of judgment. Because so many people go through this world and they go through life not realizing not only does God exist, but God is found everywhere. There's nothing in this world that's extraneous. Every single rock, every inanimate object has a spark of divinity, has an element of God in it. You, every human being, has a soul. We have a spark of God, but so many people live their lives in the opposite. They think, no, what you see is what you get. There is no divinity in this world. There is no godliness. There is no spark of goodness, of soul in everything. And suddenly they pass away and they come before the day of judgment. And God says, he doesn't say, Ani Yosef, I am Joseph, but he says, Ani Hashem, I am God. And suddenly there's a realization that all the illusions that we built up in our lifetimes, they suddenly come crashing down in that one moment after death when God says, I am God. And the question is, how did we live our lives? Woe to us on the day of judgment if our lives are being led in the opposite direction of the way in which the Creator of the world wants us to lead them. We think it's all about the glamour and the glitter and the money and the good jobs and the fancy cars and the nice houses. And suddenly when we realize that it's not about that, it's about the inner point of everything. It's about the soul. It's about godliness. It's about goodliness. It's about creating a space in this world for the divine presence. And let's not realize it when it's too late. Shabbat Shalom. Have a wonderful weekend and a great peaceful Sabbath to all of you, wherever you may be. Well, there you have it, our first message, and I hope right now that you're very careful where you go, because your soul right now should be on fire. So be careful where you walk, and we, of course, wish you the deepest blessings from the land of Israel. I am Rabbi Moshe Rothschild. Have a great Shabbat, a wonderful weekend, and a fantastic week. All the best.